don't want to see, the things that we hide. So I played more with the idea of the niqab and what type of reactions it usually elicits from people who are not aware of the culture or the meaning of it. So that's how I chose to approach it. It was more that, to create that sense of mystery and questioning and fear and prejudice, and then it ends up being revealed that actually there's a very heartbreaking reason for it. So that's kind of that was my intention. All right, so the question was, he wanted to know what inspired the subject of exploring Daesh or ISIS, and was there a personal relationship to it? And for me, I've always been fascinated by this question of what propels people to do extreme choices. I didn't really, what I tried to do is treat, yes, the boys go to ISIS, but it's not really about that. It's about what causes a person, an individual, to do such an extreme choice. Because what fascinated me about ISIS in general was the fact that it attracted people from around the world. I mean, there were Canadians that went, there were people from Christian backgrounds that went, there were young women that went. What about it attracted these individuals? And when I did my research, I mean, everyone came from very diverse backgrounds. There wasn't, I think that's why there isn't like a very, I mean, Mahdi blames his father for it, but still, like, that leaves still a mystery, you know, like, you know, what leads a person to make that choice. And when I reflected on it, I felt like, yes, there is maybe for Mahdi specifically, there's this side of, he saw himself as a victim and then was attracted by something that could, you know, validate him somehow, but he was so naive and young and it was easy to target. But then there's also Bilal, the best friend, who had a difficult childhood but makes a very different choice. So I really wanted to reflect on this question of choice and a bit about personal responsibility and how I believe, I mean, I lived a very big journey. Sorry, Maria, you're going to translate a lot, but you're doing good, so you can keep going. But I went through a big journey on this film, and one of the things I came out with is this realization that, at least within myself, I found a shadow within myself I had to confront. And I think I came out with this realization of, like, we're all responsible for ourselves and our shadows, because if we don't, we might think, or we might not, you know, be vulnerable to something like this, but I come out with the humility of knowing that actually, no, like, that's why it attracted people from so many different backgrounds, because there is something universal about it, and it's difficult for us to face that. That there is a universal shadow that we have to face within ourselves, and that's why I made this film, actually. It was for me to face my own shadow, for me to reflect on this question as well.
So the question is basically, like, as a Canadian or someone who never went to Tunisia and stuff, are you able to, like, basically take what's from the film and know, like, what is the actual, like, how people live there and stuff, and what is not about, like, specifically, like, the woman wearing the niqab and, like, what's around it and, like, what's happening in the film, like the violence to the woman. And so, like, what is the part, and how can you, like, see the film and basically say, like, this is what really is Tunisia and this is more like a fictional idea?
Complex question here. I'm trying to figure out, decode it to myself.
I don't know if I explained it well. I mean, can maybe just start the answer so you can continue, because it was in French.
Okay,
but
like, you have an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I think je vais le dire en français, puis tu pourras continuer à le compléter en anglais. Mais en fait, je pense que monsieur, si j'ai bien compris par rapport à la question, c'est, on dit l'idée du niqab, ça a été poussé, c'est un élément de genre qui a été poussé pour amener justement les réactions qui sont par rapport à la peur de l'inconnu, la peur de ce qui se cache en dessous et la vérité qui se cache en dessous, qui a une représentation très symbolique. Mais en fait, tu sais, le reste est assez véridique dans le village. Et en fait, l'idée aussi, c'est de démontrer, de briser un stéréotype qui est assez fort, de dire cet homme, ce père de famille, est contre ça. Ce n'est pas parce qu'on est dans un pays musulman que ce sont des terroristes et des radicaux. C'est vraiment justement de couper ce lien-là puis de dire, parce qu'ici, dans la société, je parle pour moi parce que je me suis faite moi aussi entourloupée par les médias et tout, où cet amalgame de dire l'islamisme radical égale les pays musulmans, alors que c'est tout faux, et de démontrer que ce père n'accepte pas et contre le fait que le fils ramène une femme qui est voilée, c'est de démontrer puis de dire, vous voyez, dans ce petit village du nord de la Tunisie, ce n'est pas nécessairement accepté. C'est vraiment de différencier les deux et de briser aussi ce stéréotype-là.
Quand est-ce que c'est arrivé dans ton processus créatif d'amener le fantastique ou le surnaturel?
Yeah, so it was interesting because when I switched to the perspective of the mother, like the feminine perspective, it kind of naturally happened. As I mentioned, I kind of went on a big journey making this film, and I ended up, one of the ways I kind of found healing was through connecting to my subconscious, through hypnosis, and like connecting with my intuition more. And so what I was living ended up going into the film, or dreams, and all of that. And it's interesting because a lot of people ask me about that, like the magical realism. But for me, it's very real. It's not magical in a way. Especially in the village where we shot, there is, or in Tunisian culture, or like many cultures, there is a belief in this type of knowledge. Even if it's not rational, but I think in North America, which is more hyper-rational, we want proof of something, right? And for me, this is almost like the way I live reality, so it's not so magical to me.
Tout était hyper-focus. Moi, j'ai eu de la misère par moment. Je devais comme reposer mes yeux. Mais il y a aussi comme hyper-focus sur 3 objets, puis ensuite sur le vide. Puis sur quelques objets, puis sur le vide. Puis je comprends pas ça. Fait que j'aimerais ça que vous m'en parlez. Merci.
Mais en fait, l'approche du film se veut un peu expérimentale. Puis le but, c'était vraiment de pouvoir happer le spectateur, le garder dans le film, puis l'éjecter à la fin. Puis les façons de faire ça, ben, il y en a plein, mais il y a surtout une mise en scène qui est vraiment pas contemporaine, qui est vraiment pas typique. C'est-à-dire qu'on ne sait jamais vraiment où la caméra va aller, qu'est-ce qu'elle va nous montrer, dans quel endroit et tout. Et puis pour les valeurs de plan, c'est la même chose, c'est le format un peu carré qu'on a. C'est pour l'aspect claustrophobique, en fait, de rester dans la famille. Il n'y a pas vraiment de vacances, en fait, où on peut voir un coin de paysage parfois. Non, c'est beaucoup des visages, on est avec eux toujours. C'est la même chose avec le foyer, c'est difficile à regarder, mais comme tu n'as pas le choix de garder les yeux rivés vers l'écran pour comprendre qu'est-ce qui se passe, où est-ce que tu es.
For the pink, I mean, I don't know, it's funny because before the film, I wasn't a huge fan of pink. But there was something about it, I think maybe it was linked to the character of Reem. There was one day the actress and we were walking on the beach, and we found by chance, we were talking about the film, preparing, and we found that little slipper, on the broken slipper on the beach. And I was really touched by it, and I think for both of us we got excited because, I mean, there's many ways to interpret it, but the way that we interpret it is it's somehow linked to her past, like this innocence. There was something innocent about this little girl's slipper, and somehow I like the idea of pink connecting Reem with the mother, the two female characters. And then, you know, when we go into her dream world, there's the pink bushes. So this idea of like, I guess it's the feminine connection in the film. Like there's something about innocence, there's something about linking these two women together. Because the way I see it is Reem, even though she can't speak and most of her body is hidden, she wants to share her story. And she wants to share it to the mother. And she's trying through her eyes, through her hands, through everything. So I really like this idea of how colors can also say a lot or connect characters together. Maybe it's not something clear, but it's probably subconscious, you feel it.
Alors, pour traduire, cette fois-ci, c'est un petit peu plus court, j'adore.
It's moonlight fire. So I've offered in past screenings if anyone needs a hug. I know this intense ride. Anyone wants a hug? I'm here. We're here. And we'd be happy to give you a nice hug. Have a great night and thank you for being here.
Hey, this is Eric from MyOnCinema.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.